Let's go.
One. Right, one. All right, so what's really happening? Yeah, there's a monkey right there. You gave me a monkey gift, and you got some monkey TikTok videos.
It's Monkeypox. It's all Brass Monkey's Garage. That's my shop that we do the restorations at. Let's keep those monkeys going. Let's go.
And,
here you go, Luke.
Racist monkey. In the video, I had it banging against my head there.
It's so racist.
Well, it is?
Oh my God! We have the TikTok video that shows the Asian monkey, and it's got actually 2 buck teeth in it. It's like we're literally living in the age of propaganda, but people just call it branding, and it's not branding; it's propaganda. Literally, everything is propaganda. So we thought we'd bring some props. We brought snacks.
So you get pretty dark.
Oh my God! I mean, not just the color of my skin, definitely my humor. I like that. I don't mind making those darker jokes because I've heard it my whole life. I think a lot of people don't realize that. Being 53, I'm definitely on the older side coming in.
You're proud of your age.
I'm proud of it because I survived. I survived immigration. I've survived being over 300 pounds. I've literally survived being attacked twice in the last 6 months by people where I actually have had knives pulled on me and my face scratched.
Oh, I was just going to ask you if any comedians try to stab you.
In the back, obviously. That's part of the field. But no, I'm talking about where I've had actually like neighbors listen to some of the jokes that I've done, and I've had a restraining order trial like a couple of weeks ago, and it was crazy. They brought in my bit from Alameda Comedy Club, and I'm sitting there in the back, literally. I have a restraining order trial against my neighbor that lives across the street. He's on meth, so.
That's a fun drug.
Yeah,
which makes it not good to do because it's too much.
We'll definitely get some meth jokes in as we're sitting here for a couple of hours, especially being we're here on 9th Street. But anyway, he brought up my video on the screen, and I'm sitting there because we're doing this trial in Zoom, and I'm pro per on the trial, and I'm thinking to myself, did this guy literally bring in my video? And the first part of the video is where I say, I've got this line where I talk about getting the restraining order, and I'm like, fuck those white boys, like really loud. And he brought them, he's like, Your Honor, he's racist. And the judge is just looking at him like, dude, that's a trial. But in the back of this Zoom camera, I'm sitting there literally shaking like this going, please don't slide 5 seconds more because there's me doing the Michael Jackson joke where I'm actually sucking dick, on the bent over backward on the back of a stool.
Oh, I gotta see this.
Oh my god. Yeah, it was my Leaving Neverland joke. Did you see Leaving Neverland?
I don't think I have.
So we gathered some popcorn. We gathered some popcorn around a table.
Like Michael Jackson.
No, you don't.
No, you won't after you see this. I was just always suspicious about that monkey. Since we got the monkey theme, let's just keep it going. Because that monkey was, like, every time you heard stories about Michael Jackson and these kids, they're like, and what was that monkey's name? Bubbles?
Yeah, Bubbles.
Bubbles the monkey, and that makes it even more creepy. That's like John Wayne Gacy creepy. Because think about it. He killed all those kids, and at least 30 of those 60 were thinking, Mommy, I told you I was scared of clowns. You know what I mean? That was their last thought before they were underneath the house. So
clowns to monkeys.
It's not that far. We're just staying on the theme of creepy. So he's got this monkey in this house, and he was basically just using the monkey to draw these kids in. And so he's there for 10 years, and the Santa Monica police and all that stuff, they didn't even care. It's like literally the parents sold the kids to Michael Jackson, more or less. That's what the movie insinuates.
Yeah, Michael Jackson, R. Kelly, the parents both wanted the kids there for a little bit.
Well, R. Kelly, it was just younger girls. Michael Jackson, it was boys, and they were like 7 years old and 8 years old. And then what he'd do is he'd go and get them from Australia. Because Australia, everybody's like... there's a lot of poor parts of Australia. A lot of people think Australia is this perfect country, but it's kind of trashy, dude. Everybody lives on the edges, and then the rest of the desert is like pretty much empty. It's like, New Mexico.
So Michael Jackson was more into importing.
Yes, he liked the import models, the Australian boys, because he'd get more in trouble if they were here. But if they're Australian, they don't have as many civil rights, do they? Because they're still looking to try to get their green card.
Maybe they like it better.
They're tough.
It's a new place.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'd want social introductions for Michael Jackson in that way. But hey, you got a zoo. You got a. Didn't he have a
amusement park.
You had an amusement park. I mean, if you really think about it, it was just a big giant bait factory.
I think he liked to cuddle. I don't see. I can imagine Michael Jackson penetrating or anything.
Oh my God, that's actually the joke.
Came out of nowhere.
It wasn't a woman. It was like they were burying stories about Michael Jackson in Santa Monica. Because he ran the police department. So they were burying stories about him for like 10 years. And all the story, I mean, there was like at least 5 kids that came out, and he paid off about 3 of them. But in the
Not bad.
Yeah, I mean listen, I have this one joke that's so horrible. Everybody asks me, like, especially the younger kids, they're like, what was dating like in the 90s? And I said, well, there was a lot more rape. That's for sure. And it's a dark joke, but back then, there was no cancel culture, and men were a lot more aggressive. It was like, toxic man culture was still kind of in, and they didn't have the internet, and you couldn't really out people. It's better for women, and it's a lot better for everybody across the board right now. But that does not mean that we can't go back and make fun of it.
If you do it right.
Yeah. Right. Then that's the whole thing. You got to do it right. And when I go into a bar, there might be like 4 or 5 people in there. I mean, you might be walking in on somebody having dinner. It doesn't matter. I mean, at this level, there's sometimes you'll get a big. Well, for me, I get bigger crowds at the car shows. We'll get into that because I restore cars too. But, for some of these spots, I mean, it's really humbling because, you think you've written this great material, and, you've got the other comedians. Some of them will walk out on you, and some of them will stay there. But the thing is that, what I'm trying to preach with, not preach with the other comedians, I'm trying to show them that it's like, you guys shouldn't be competing against each other, because they have this saying in comedy that be careful, be nice to everybody, because the same people that you're nice to on the way up, you're going to meet on the way down. You don't stay famous forever. This is a heartless, cruel. It's probably one of the most difficult jobs that you can do, because you have to take what's going on in your mind and your soul, and you have to put it on a microphone, and you have to take it out to a crowd. Sometimes there's not a lot of people, and you have to put it out there and say, hey, this is who I am. And if you get shunned or silenced, it's just devastating to the ego. But I think that that's what you're trying to do here in this process. You're trying to strip the ego off yourself and just find who you are. And for me, that happened probably about 6 months ago when I got attacked by one of our neighbors. And it was a neighbor that was stalking Monica. And I literally jumped on my back, pounded me in the back of the head like 3 or 4 times, which, if you know me, it doesn't hurt because I was a skater too. So, you got to take out our ankles.
So anyway, punching this person?
No, he was on the back of my. Well, what happened is 3 years ago.
I was punching him as well.
Wow. We were walking with my pit bull. Me and Monica were walking with my pit bull down the street on a Sunday afternoon, and we were both fans of comedy. I had been on Greg Fitzsimmons' show, but honestly, if I had gotten into comedy about 8 months ago, it would have been absolute shit, because I would have did the hacky Indian jokes. I mean, I do not do Indian, even though it is tempting. I will not do the Indian jokes, even though I had this traditional Indian parents, even though I've got the traditional, or I've got the entertainment background, but I don't want to do those jokes. I want to do jokes about being American, because I could walk into any store right now without opening my mouth and say, hey, you from my country? And they'd be like, what country is that? And it's like, America. We're American. But I'm never going to be you're never treated as being Indian as an American. You're always the immigrant coming in. It's like, hey man, I've been here since I was 3 years old. My parents have been here. But you still kind of get treated as an immigrant in certain regards.
Well, and they expect you to be a techie, right?
All the time they expect me to be tech.
I didn't expect the car thing. I looked up your actual name on the search engine and said you're in the classic cars, right?
Yes. That's what I grew up with Volkswagens, and my first car was a 58. Now you got to understand, my dad was a nuclear engineer. So he's building nuclear carriers and nuclear power plants, and when he saw me get into this old Volkswagen, he was just like, "Oh shit, park it on the side."
Volkswagen on the side.
Yeah, it's an old 58 Volkswagen Bug. That's what I got. That was my first car. And growing up in India, we always had the classic scooters, the motorcycles, the Lambrettas and the Vespas. And my grandfather, he was in World War II. So he also had motorcycles, and and there was one part of my life when between 22 and 24 where I went to India, and I used to buy the old motorcycles from World War II, and I used to bring them back. Well, those old World War IIs, I ran into a lot of these guys that actually do whole World War II reenactments with tanks and everything. And so they bought some of these bikes, and they got me into the hot rod culture. And so a lot of these World War II bikes, what happened after World War II is a lot of Americans came back, and they just needed that thrill. So they got into the motorcycles, and they'd drive them up these dirt hills. Dirt hill driving. That was the first races. And then from that evolved into the outlaw biker culture. And, it's just something that I grew up with, just being in the garages and just growing up with hot rods. I have a lot of Latino friends. So on the weekends, or especially now during the summertime, it's August, and, I can pick up a lot of fans and a lot of followers just from going out to the car shows, which is kind of a cheat. And I didn't want to really do it because even, I can go from playing 3 people to like 1,400 if I'm hosting a VW event or maybe even a Corvair event. And I like doing the daytime events because being older, you're so tired by the end of the night.
And they probably don't expect it. Like they don't know you as the comic yet.
They within a few sentences they kind of figure it out, but if you look at the cars themselves, it's like you don't want to like be like you're showing off. It's like I don't take that attitude when I go in. As I've gotten older, I've just become a lot more humble, and I don't even take the cars to the show anymore.
So you're pretty humble.
I try, because I know that I'm just so lucky.
You don't hear that from comedians anymore. Wow.
I don't know. I mean, it's like. I feel like I'm lucky just because literally, if you want to know our story, it's just been crazy. I met her by Monica
Lopez.
Lopez.
With the shot. Yeah.
Danny with the shot. Let's introduce these guys out here.
How do you all know each other?
So Monica, I stalked her in her yoga class. I literally followed her for a whole year.
Number 2.
For a whole year. She shot me down for a whole year. She had excuses like my dog's anal gland has to be squeezed. And
she doesn't even have a dog with an anal.
She doesn't even have a dog. It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So anyway,
I thought he was on medication or something. When I met him, I was like, what the heck? This guy's like...
For the record, I should be. I have severe ADHD. Everybody can tell. I have a schedule book. No, I don't do dope. But
so you just don't take a medication. Okay.
I should have just unmedicated, just letting me out the world.
Self-medicated.
Self-medicating, yeah. So I met her that way, and then me and Monica... we had friends over at Floor, a weed store up in Union City, first retail weed store, by the way. Shout out Floor, and they had a party with Chong from Cheech and Chong. Tommy Chong, yeah. Shout out Tommy Chong. By the way, Tommy Chong, in real life, if you've heard that he's a nice guy, if you meet him, he's 10 times nicer than he even appears to be. His reputation. He's a total sweetheart.
I thought you were going to say the opposite. Wow.
No.
Okay.
No, I don't. It's so easy to talk bad about other people because it can you can create a beef and get more attention that way. But the truth of the matter is that we're all in one of the most difficult fields that you could get into, stand-up comedy, because it's not as great as music. I've got a music background. We can go hit a concert. Even stand-up comedians, it's very rare that we go see a stand-up shows unless it's a friend or there's politics involved. Usually we want to forget about it and go listen to some music. And that's where kind of Danny came in too. And we met at Chong, and he's been shooting a lot of music videos for a lot of the rappers in the area, and he's always going out to rappers like La Russell. Shout out La Russell. He's doing really well in the Bay Area.
From the Bay, yeah.
Yeah, he's from Vallejo. He's wild too. He's a really good follow, by the way. And now he's shooting. Where else are you shooting, Danny?
The Greek Theater.
That's pretty big. Yeah.
He just shot the Greek Theater. Yeah.
Berkeley.
He's working for Value Culture, which does a lot of events here. He shot Pato Bonton's show last weekend.
Okay.
No,
Wow.
A few
weeks
weeks
ago.
Yeah. So he's on, and what's amazing is he turns out that he lives right around the corner from me. So I'm this old dude that's absolutely has no clue how TikTok or Instagram or anything really works. I'm just using it to post my cars. And a couple of weeks ago, my Instagram got hijacked. Somebody pretended to be. I was talking to Sammy on the phone, and somebody like, I thought it was his ID, and they're like, "Hey man, can you send me a link for some tickets?" And I sent the wrong link. I was like, but I mean, it was crazy for them to hijack me. They had to follow me for like 2 or 3 years, and then they tried to get me for like a couple $100s, and I was like, no, you're trying to get money from an Indian first of all.
Wow, so they were in the process. They
Oh
had
my
a
God.
plan out.
Oh my God, and Indian, and then they went on my Facebook when I tried to sign up my Facebook. And then they were trying to get money off a comedian. I was like, it took me a long time to get the 1,300 followers that I had at the time, which was a couple of months ago. And it's like, it's embarrassing because a lot of the followers that I have they're all verified. And so now, not only did I get the Instagram hijack, this is the worst part of it. I can't get it back. We tried cracking Instagram
Unless
for a
you
good.
know how to do it. Anybody?
We've been trying to get it back. I mean, it's like, I think maybe I can call them up and offer some ads up, but they're pretending like they're me and 2 or 3 other comedians that are local. What was that one girl's
I
name?
don't know, but they followed you, and they also.
Yeah, a lot of the comedians follow me, and it's like, we exchange spots and this and that with each other and let each other know what's going on, and basically they kind of screwed that up, but they got hijacked too. And then I found out that just be careful. A lot of you comedians that are out there, it's really easy to get hijacked right now.
Wait, I hope I'm not following these people.
I mean, it's like, what it is. It's like kind of like they hijack somebody that and then they send something your way. And I was like, usually I just ignore the comments, but I was just flipping back and forth, and I had a terrible phone. I had the Metro service.
I got that too.
Oh my God, I
But
got the
it's T-Mobile now.
Metro to
Also.
T-Mobile. When Sprint got in, it just stopped working. And I was like, wait a second, I'm paying $60 a month for 2 lines. I was like, if I finally make it in life, I decided I was going to get Verizon. And I'm finally back at Verizon, and ironically, it's cheaper than T-Mobile.
And but you can quit whenever you want. That's the thing about
T-Mobile?
Metro T-Mobile.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if yours is working. Ours got so bad that when we came into the city, the maps weren't even working. And Monica's got an iPhone, and I had one of those the Motorola's with the with all the attachments, and it wasn't even working. So we just said forget it. I finally switched. Let me tell you, I finally switched over to Apple, and I thought it was going to be really painful. But I think I did a 2-hour bit that nobody will ever know. It was one of the greatest 2 hours of comedy that have ever been done. But it was in a Verizon store with 3 other employees. And so they did my.
This.
Do we have any tape? We've got some crazy tape though.
They
but
probably have the tape.
Only if they were going to give it to the police because they were suspicious of how I was acting, which seems to always be the case.
Once the police get the tape, it's like, you just can't see it, even though it's you. That's what I never understood.
The police tape?
Yeah, once they get the tape, you can't see your own video.
That actually
Unless
happened to
they're
us.
standing
That
there.
happened to us on the restraining order when that guy jumped me. Monica has the tape of him literally running over, jumping on my back, hitting me in the back of the head, and the police said I started the fight. And I was like, oh my God! And this is what
video.
railroaded
Yeah.
feels like. Yeah. And I was like, I mean, we literally have the video now, but we don't want to see PJ. Well, actually, there's probably plenty of comedians out there that would love to see PJ get his ass kicked on camera, but we're not going to show them that. We're not going to give them that thing. They can do it for
But when
real.
that dies out, then you must be disappointed. It's probably a good thing when comedians want to, kill you or whatnot.
No, I mean, here's what's going to happen right now. What's going on is I've been playing a lot of spots in the East Bay, and it's been fantastic. The reception's been great, and Patrick over at Alameda Comedy Club, he really gave me my first break, and it was like about 4 months ago, and I just had this really killer set of like 5 minutes because the night before it was my third. It was 3 sets in a row. I had 5 minutes over at Tipsy's one night, and that's where I got started. Shout out Tipsy's, Luis. He's amazing host. Luis Perez, amazing.
Crispy did an open mic out there.
Did you like it?
Oh, he's dead now. He's
Crispy?
dead
At
now.
Alameda Comedy Club?
No, out there in the East Bay. He's dead
Tipsy.
now, though. But
Oh.
I don't know him. You know.
Crispy. Yeah, I believe Crispy was in there. Yeah, I went out there a couple times. Then he died. So I was like, well.
It's comedy, huh?
Crispy or frosty?
Frosty, yeah, Frosty Nugs. That was
Shit.
I call him Crispy. Yeah,
You could call it.
Frosty was
There's so many jokes there.
All
There's
these-
so many
I was
jokes there
gonna say-
with me here.
all these times
And then Frosty.
I always called him Crispy, but actually his name was Frosty Nugs. Yeah,
Do you think there's there's this one comedian, he's Vietnamese.
probably still call him Crispy.
Yeah, I
That's
think
what
his
do.
name is Toothbrush, and I called him
Toothbrush. Yeah,
Toothbrush.
He's
What did
great.
What did I call him?
Toothpaste.
You call him Toothpick.
Toothpick or something like that.
that.
And then I think he was, and I'm so sorry for this Toothbrush, but I think he was behind me one night at Penelope's in Oakland, and there was an Asian name behind me, and it was like Fong Shuang Tong or something like that. And I was like, hey man, you're right behind me. He's all, that's on me, dude. And I was like, does it matter? And,
How'd that go?
it did not go well. He's like, hey, fuck you, man. Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, bro, just relax, dude. This is a character that I do. Is when I get into character, I just become this toxic, racist, just
crazy,
1990s comedian where I just spew a bunch of just cheesy street jokes and or just talk about the jokes that nobody really want to talk about. Like we were talking about Michael Jackson. And
I've got to use that at work. When I get into character, because I get a lot of complaints from other coworkers about things I say.
Hey,
Tell them I'm in a character.
you're a comedian. You got ADHD. You probably are at that point where you
I haven't
probably
taken my pills. Yeah.
yeah, and you're just probably don't give a fuck. I mean, you're dealing with
Adderall
fucking
in there.
yeah, you're dealing with people in the grocery game, dude. The grocery game is
The worst part is the coworkers. Yeah.
Yeah, coworkers are always the worst part in anything.
Was it Safeway or where
Oh,
you were?
Lucky. Yeah. The worst part. They recently want to ban 2 words. I say not bad, and I just say not bad. I just say not bad, and then recently they want to ban those 2 words.
Not bad, really.
Yeah, not bad, and it's like all of a sudden it just annoys all the other employees there.
That sounds like it's so passive aggressive.
Yeah.
Passive
Usually
aggressive?
I would
Is the not bad part or the fact that they're trying to ban you?
they ban the word not bad.
I don't see how that
How's
could.
that?
Not bad.
Yeah,
I guess
I'm
there's
just
only a
wondering
few
what,
ways you can say
Is
that,
it
right?
just too
Not
negative
bad.
or something?
I mean, did you say creepy like when the girls were walking by? Like, not bad.
I mean, I say it about so many things. It's just a way of keeping myself energized, because I don't want to be there. So I'm just like, I look at the say, hey, not bad, huh? And then I have other coworkers that'll turn around and say, would you stop? I'm telling the store manager, and then they get like that. What?
Can you tell when somebody's from the East Bay? There's one word that they use that is more like it absolutely all over the entire United States.
I don't know if I should say. What is it?
Hella.
Oh, okay. No,
That's hella
the
tight,
Bay
dude.
Area. That's just the Bay Area.
Do you guys rock hella in San Francisco?
Well, yeah, that's the
What's
Bay
a
Area.
What's a San Francisco word? Like if somebody's just killing it on stage, you guys do you just shout? I mean, for me, I feel like such a hack because I sound like Tony Hinchcliffe when I go like hell yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I just can't
That's
help
the
it.
Bay.
Hell yeah.
I think that's just California.
What hella or
Hella,
no?
yeah.
Hella is Northern California. That's why everybody knew.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody knew. And then there's one
We
way.
say ye.
Well, there was one
That's
word
the
that they
word.
said that was in 70s in Oakland that you knew somebody was from Oakland, and it was the way they said shit. They went shit.
Yeah, that's
shit.
okay.
I'm from Oakland. So if you were blowing smoke up somebody's ass, they'd be like shit.
Oakland looks a lot nicer than San Francisco lately, I noticed.
I guess depending on the spots that you go to, but it's not that bad. It's got a really great vibe out there. A lot of the artists back in the 90s, there was a lot of artists that lived over here. I grew up in this area. Like, not grew up, but like a big chunk of my life was spent right here around the corner. San Francisco, right here around the corner, man. In the 90s, I mean, we're definitely going to talk about those parties in the 90s. They were off the hook.
Yeah, I lived in my car in Glen Park. That
In 90s? In the 90s?
No, it's
No,
the
you're too young.
2000s.
Yeah.
90s, dang, 90s. What was I doing in the 90s?
It was the late 90s. Let's talk. What was it?
Yeah.
Late 90s. That
Yeah, I wasn't doing very good in those days.
At least you're honest.
They wanted me on pills, and I was getting. I had my first straight jacket, I think, in the 90s, They had some places like Belmont Hills where you stay in for 3 weeks. They called it Belmont Hills. You stay in there for 3 weeks and you just take medication and you listen to Nirvana and if you're really insane, you listen to Coldplay.
That makes sense.
That's what we do
You
now.
can take lithium while listening to lithium.
You can take lithium while listening to lithium.
Yeah, totally.
The art becomes a reality.
And we had a little basketball hoop outside if we just can't escape. It's like a patio area. It was weird because it was also connected to a senior home and like a rehab center. So like lunchtime and dinner, we'd always spend time with everybody. The old folks, the crazies, and I guess the addicts.
Yeah, that was the San Francisco party back in the 90s. That's exactly what it was. You know, there was a lot of addicts still left over. There were still those guys. Remember this one guy, Diamond Dave? He used to live in the.
Yeah, he's a strip club DJ, right?
No, he's actually an old. He was an old hippie that from the 60s that lived in the warehouses down here. There was a whole warehouse culture in the 90s over here with DJs and people were living in warehouses and art. Because back then you could get a room. You'd have to be pretty lucky because the dot economy started in the late 90s, but you could get a room for $500 all day back in from 90.
That doesn't sound good. All day for 500.
No, $500 was you could rent a room and have roommates for like $500 back in the day. A month.
Oh, a month. Okay.
Yeah,
a month.
$500 a month.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's cool.
yeah. No, $500 a month back in the day.
$500.
Sometimes you could find places for $750 to $1,000, and it was reasonable. But once the rents became super, super crazy, and all these other companies came in, and obviously now it's complete. Things went kind of downhill a little bit, and then it rises right back up.
Oh yeah. And so 90s. I remember now. 95. That's when I try to take my life. I used those pills for the opposite effect.
Holy shit!
And then they worked though to the effect they wanted because all of a sudden like I couldn't kill myself. I was trying to. I kept on.
It was like ayahuasca. It went opposite.
Which is I seen that. I went to a psychedelics meeting the other day. Not a fan. I guess that's age. Like you're just like no. But yeah, I just kept trying to pop them, and then I realized my body just numbed up on me. So I was just trying to shoot the pills in my mouth from a distance, and I couldn't move. I was just like, I couldn't move. And so I guess it worked because they were depression pills.
Uh-huh.
So they stop you from killing yourself.
You got the right dosage.
Yeah, it was like 50 pills. I should have told them, hey, so it's 50 pills a day makes it so I'm not depressed anymore.
Keeps the doctors and everybody away.
Just one makes me tired. But actually, it's the only time I did take the pills.
I just read. I just downloaded Doug Stanhope's book, Killing Mama. I forget exactly what.
Killing.
No,
The Mama book.
No, I thought it was the
It's irrelevant.
Drunk.
Drunk.
Punch.
Just whatever.
Drunk Punch Love.
Yeah, I just read it, and one of the sentences or one of the lines in the book is like, anyone who says that suicide is not the answer hasn't asked the right questions.
Yeah, because I mean, it's all the point of doing it versus actually
Just taking the full commitment.
thinking of the process. Yeah, like I get it, but I don't get it. Too. Like I've seen a lot of people jump in front of trains. And the way they just like walk back. You ever seen that movie, The Bridge, too?
Oh my God, bro!
The Bridge, that was amazing. Like, I saw people they would walk back and forth, and then they go, yeah, it's time, and then they just jump off the bridge.
Actually, one of my closest friends, who not to make this podcast go even more depressing than it is.
Oh, it's depressing?
But I don't think so. Because we're celebrating life here. We're not celebrating. And I hate that. It's like all
don't
these kids
celebrate my life if I do.
We're celebrating.
commit suicide.
We are celebrating having one of the best podcasts in San Francisco at one of the best fucking studios in San Francisco right now. That's what we're celebrating. At 30?
We're 30 minutes in.
So we're just going to keep on
And
rolling.
this is the suicide topic.
Okay.
Your
So,
girlfriend.
basically, it's
the only drink I could reach.
Yeah, I lost my train of thought.
Who
Your friend.
Oh yeah,
Danny.
my friend. Oh no, his name was Dan too. By the way, I didn't tell you the story. Yeah, shit. And he's I haven't got a picture of him on my phone. He was a good-looking guy. I mean, he was just such a poon hound though, and he was just always after girls. No, his name was. Actually, it was an Indian. It was an Indian last name. He was Indian. But no, what I was getting at is back in 2008, I got this call from a friend of mine, and it said that my friend had died, and I didn't know. And I went to the funeral, and nobody would talk about how he died. And as it turned out, he jumped in front of a train.
Yeah,
and I was thinking to myself, shit.
There's so many funerals these days that I have to be selective. I think, how well did I know this person? Do I feel like it's
connected?
That memorable of a thing if I go to their funeral? Because there's so many people dying these days on this show actually. So hope you. This is why it's good to meet everyone. I had Jim Mullen, a friend of mine, I did karaoke with. He was supposed to come on the week of, and then he died. Some rappers, Tony Gore, I had on the show. He died. Cuddy Banks, you guys.
I heard the
He's a
name.
musician.
Yeah, he got shot up at the Hillsdale Mall trying to get some cash from the ATM. There's
You can see my face right now changing.
a good comedian friend I got to know, Daphne Dorman, which was got to be praised by Dave Chappelle and all that on the special, and then I didn't see that coming. Come to think about it, it's weird that usually comes the week of, or I see. I hate it when I see it later in Facebook posts. Like, hold on.
Oh shit, I'm laying low then. I got real motherfuckers after me. You know, when we ain't talking about bacteria, I got real people after me with. Oh my god, I didn't even tell you that the whole situation with over at my house resulted in gunplay. There was guys walking by my house with automatic weapons. I got my front door kicked in. Yeah,
and this is real.
This is real.
Yeah.
This is real. This is not a bit. So a lot of the people, you know, it's not all the people.
Yeah,
some
let's
of the
get
comedians
deep.
are like, yeah, no, they were like, you know, your comedy's really edgy, and I was like, you should see my life. I didn't really even choose this. So now, you know, it's like I've gotten to a certain age, and something clicked inside me, and I've just become a lot more defiant with the comedy.
Oh.
You know, just really saying probably going to the wrong clubs, not reading the rooms, saying the wrong things at the wrong times. But, you know, some of the comedians that are 3 to 5 years in, I mean, I have been putting them on the floor. Some of the other comedians, like half of them, they're like, oh, I'm going to walk out of here. But I don't really trip because, you know, the thing is I look at it now and, you know, this is like, what, I'm 6 to 8 months in or something?
You started 420.
Yeah, man, 420.
Started up again. I mean, you've been doing comedy for a while.
Well, I started up again because I had written all the jokes and just being around that area of old cars and everything. And you remember when you work as a personal trainer, or I taught Pilates because I went to Pilates school up in Mill Valley over here. And one of the things that you realize is that it's a show. It's a complete show. Once the clients get bored of you, you're gone. And you're sitting there like, you know, your gym that you work for, they charge $130 an hour. And, you know, you're sitting there and it's like, you know, this like, I mean, you're thinking to yourself, am I really worth it? So you want to be as entertaining as possible so that they can get through their workout. And for them, of course, like $130, I mean, wow, it's like, that's a lot of money. Even if you think about it, it's like, you know.
Each class.
Yeah, each hour. I mean, what do they charge for your classes? $130 for doing yoga?
I'm a trainer, so I guess. Well, it really depends on. Like,
She works at the Bay Club.
Yeah, I
and-
work at the Bay Club. They can charge from 110.
Bay
to
Club
200.
is in the South Bay.
Redwood City.
Redwood
Shores.
like
The
Redwood
Bay-
Shores.
the
Yeah,
Bay Club.
I was there one day.
Yeah, the Bay Club Redwood Shores.
I had
Yeah,
a free trial.
yeah, I worked there. Yeah, so
She can
Just
get you
I
in.
was just there in the morning. just
Like
got
how
back there.
often? I mean, it was a great place, but I was like, wow,
It's very
this
nice.
is what rich people live it up.
Yeah,
You gotta
they've
pay a
got
little bit more to get a little bit
the
better
300.
service.
Well, I mean, if you break it down though, I mean, it's like it's $10 a day. I mean, it's like I know I
Well-
used to spend that much on coffee.
But if you've seen the place,
Oh yeah,
it
it's
looks
nice.
like rich people living it up.
Yeah, they are living. They do live it up. They do live it up. They've got a whole nother lifestyle.
I mean, I was on the what was it called, the cardio thing, the bike.
The elliptical.
Yeah, elliptical, and I was looking out, and you could actually see. They got little windows. I mean, that's That's living it up. That's the rich life. Because at the other gyms, you're just looking at a wall.
Yeah, I know. Planet Fitness and whatever.
By the way, I also read Tom Segura's last book.
That's a good book. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and then I heard the interview with it. It's number 2 on the New York bestsellers. Like, and he was talking. Well, he's like, isn't that the perfect and for being a comedian? Like, silver is the gold. You know what I mean? It's just perfect.
Silver lining.
Yeah, but still number 2, and he was saying, Tom Segura, man, that book is really great. I mean, a lot of these comedians, they don't understand. It's like, for those guys to get into the positions that they're at, where they're controlling different types of media, I think personally, being 50 and having I want to say they're friends, but acquaintances of mine in comedy that are a little bit older. You get to this age now, and you're burying your parents, and so a lot of comedians, once they bury their parents, and a lot of times they bury their egos with that, and you start realizing, hey, I've only got about 10 good summers left
like
to have
Kanye West.
Yeah, well, I don't know in what regard would you say Kanye?
Oh, when he ended up burying his mom. That's when.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a great example. Yeah, it's a great example. Once you get to that point where you realize you're going to bury your parents, and you can you have to understand that you're a part of this cycle too. It's just a cycle, and comedy's so weird because I was literally I was kicking. You know who I kicked back with? Actually, Joe List outside the Punchline about a couple months ago. And he didn't have to come out. Remember, he came out and he said hi to everybody. That's why he's a pros pro. By the way, like I told you, all the comedians that are out there, you got to realize something. When you go out and you talk to your fans, you got to remember a lot of people sacrificed a lot of things they had to do to come out to see your show. Even if you're dragging, go out and talk to them. Don't talk to the other comedians. They're always going to be around. The ones that are going to be around. Start getting involved with the people that, like, three or four people that are at that bar. Because when you go and play that bar again, there might be 5, 6, 8. You don't know. But get to know everybody, because those are going to be your people that are going to support you. All these, like, a lot of the comedians I've seen, like, they're not a lot, but I can feel it. You literally got to help each other. And if you, instead of going into these little cliques with all your best friends and going to only the spots that they do, find the hosts, support the hosts, try to get their spots going. Because the thing a lot of people don't realize is that the stand-up scene in the Bay Area, it's probably one of the hottest scenes to be in. I mean, there's rappers that show up. There's different people, because you're not going to get found out in the stand-up comedy thing. And I've been to, I go regularly. It's a part of our lives right now. We're so immersed.
Open mics.
No, we're talking about just being immersed in comedy overall, because we're so immersed right now in comedy. About 8 years ago, we were sitting here, me and Monica, and we go to this little spot, this beer cellar right up there on, was it on the Tenderloin, a beer cellar right up there, and a couple of friends of ours were coming in from New York. They had a podcast. One of the guys was on the podcast. You might have heard of it. It's called Legion of Skanks. Now everybody's on that podcast.
I like that.
Yeah, Legion of Skanks. And so, so Zach Amico, Luis Gomez, Kim Congdon, just straight slayers. And a lot of the Sacramento comedians, they show up in this beer cellar. There's like maybe 10 people. And, it was just, just absolutely everybody just destroyed. I mean, New York comedians, man, I mean, they're just on a whole nother level of...
I don't think they like the Bay Area comedians.
They hate the Bay Area comedians.
They say we're like elitist or something. We think we're
because
elitist.
they're pussies. They won't tell the jokes that they want to tell, because there's so many politics. They just think we're not, the whole thing is you're trying to break your shit down. You're trying to break yourself down and become vulnerable. That's when people are going to
East Coast comics.
Yeah, the East Coast comics, they're on a whole nother level, because the competition is so severe. Like, you go out to any of those stand-up, I mean, there's people that are in line for doing stand-up spots in New York that would be headliners here. That's how severe the competition is. And if you keep your competition, it's like, where you're not telling I'm going to save this joke for this spot, or I'm going to save this joke for improv, and you're not telling the other comedians your joke, and you don't look at it as a little bit of a competition where we're just going to destroy this microphone and have a great night, then you're doing yourself a disservice, because how are you going to grow? You know, it's really about the other comedians. Those are your fans right now. And I mean, instead, you know, for someone like that might be coming up, I mean, I've seen people like not put them on spots that they would have that they would do fantastic in. You know, I mean, you know, it's a lot of the hosts. I mean, a lot of the hosts are going to turn into promoters where they're going to show events. I mean, get people to don't worry about, you know, the ethics of the joke. Just fill those seats and keep those spots and grow this thing. It's going to be really amazing. It's growing as it is. I mean, from when we first started to what it is now, what have we seen? Just an influx of like a lot of comedians, and it's an attainable dream. It's an attainable dream.
The thing. There's a lot of comedians.
10 million comedians in the United States, apparently. You know, 10 million, and then
that's quite a consensus.
Yeah, it's quite. You know, that I heard Sammy do this bit actually at the Cobb's when he said there's 10 million, and maybe 4 million will see some stage time of the 10 million, and then you know, if you get down to how many people are getting stage time, and you know there's, you know, if you keep doing the stand-up routines, showing up at spots. You can play improv. You can play Cobb's. You can play Tommy T's. There's chances. I know they tease a lot of the comedians with, like, you know, you pay $5 and bring your friend, and it seems kind of pyramid-y, but you just got to kind of pay your dues and just show up. And the people that are shitty will kind of like fall off, and the people that are good, you're going to surround yourself with.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. That brings up two things. What can you be shitty and still be great? I notice there's a lot of there's some comedians out there that are praised out here. Well, yeah, they're put at the gigs as someone big, and they're a horrible comic and a horrible person, but it's just maybe about who they know. Like,
yeah,
I've even maybe I'm just judging this person, and I listen to their jokes again, and I'm like, that is horrible, especially if I'm at a showcase.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the thing is that, you know, you could have a shitty set. I mean, Big Brit John, he was telling me this just the other day. I mean, he gave me some advice, and, you know, he said that Doug Stanhope told him, he's like, you know, depending on the crowd, depending on your buzz, depending on where you're playing that night, you're just not feeling it, so you could pull back, and you know, so a lot of times, you know, you actually have to see people perform at least a couple of times before you get kind of a vibe of where they're at in their career, or where they're going. But you know, you could be shitty one week, and all of a sudden you could read this amazing book, or you could meet a person that influences you, and all of a sudden you could have your breakthrough. But I think people are looking for their big break. You know, the big break. I'm going to get my big break on this podcast. I'm going to get my...
Yeah, I've had people, they say, I should be on my second Netflix special by now. You're like, you haven't even heard one set. You did good. And I look as a fan.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, someone in the audience is how I'm picturing listening to this person. I'm like, still waiting for something that sounds funny that you're saying. And you could be doing it for dozens of years,
but you know,
still be the same. Can people just maybe stay in their own circle, and that could be toxic?
Well, you know, that's what I'm trying to get at is when you start telling people they should do this joke or not do that joke, and it's like, well, there's no rules in this. There's no comedy school. Like, if somebody's like, oh, I graduated with a PhD in comedy from Harvard, I'd be like,
yeah, there's classes, but, you know.
Yeah, there's no way to teach this. There's no way to teach this. A lot of this comes from experience. A lot of this comes from the people that you grew up with or that you have influenced. A lot of it comes with keeping up with research and actually sitting there and writing the jokes and seeing the ironies in life. So I think that there is ways to do that, but at the same time, I have also seen a lot of comedians, a lot of them, what they do is they end up being friends with somebody, and they haven't written a joke in 8 years. It's like, dude, you haven't written a joke in 8 years. I've shown up and I'll support you, but come on, it's time to write some new material. You know, you got to write some new material.
So they could just have friends, and then next thing you know, they're on tons of lineups.
Yeah.
If I was a friend of a comic and I heard their joke all the time, if they didn't seem to say anything new or anything
you can
funny
clean
after
it up.
a while, I'd be like, bro, I'm kind of embarrassed to always put you on this lineup here.
You can clean it up. You can clean it up, definitely clean it up, like where you can get the jokes a little bit tighter. Because one of the skits that I do, I tell everybody is like jokes change, they change as you change. The jokes are going to change with you as you develop. The jokes, the timing, everything is going to develop with you. Don't be scared of the development. But what the thing is that you're not going to develop if you put yourself in a comfort zone where you're not asking yourself the right questions or doing the right, or really taking a chance. Now's the, when you're up on stage, especially open mics, now's the chance to create some energy. I mean, I did this one bit where I kicked off my shoes about, having some Asians fix my shoes at Ranch 99. I threw my shoe at him, and he threw his shoe back at me.
I can relate.
Yeah,
I used
and
to work there.
Ranch 99?
Yeah.
Oh my God, they do everything for you there. It's like, it's so great.
I used to do security. It was a little awkward when they told me to follow certain people. Like, what do you
Certain people not Chinese?
Yeah, the black guys.
Well, that's yeah.
I mean, and I'm not in the same mindset. I mean, I don't even know really what
All you have
their
to do is
thought
just stand in
process
front of the
was.
fine liquors.
My problem was also, like, why? But, one time I fell for it, and I was like, all right, I'll fall a little bit. But the guy where the manager always would poke his head out after every aisle, say, closer, closer. And like,
Closer.
yeah, like,
Closer.
You can't do this while I'm still following.
What city was it in?
It was over here, Daly City,
Figures.
Skyline, I believe. Yeah.
Figures. Hey, are you living in the city now?
No.
Where do you live?
I'm in San Carlos.
Oh, San Carlos.
City
Oh,
of
that's a
good
nice.
living.
Yeah, dude. You know what was in San Carlos was the old Volkswagen shop.
Talking about the Batmobile raid?
I don't know Batmobile. It was called Donsko. It was right over on Harbor Boulevard or something.
Okay, I'm not sure. I know about the Batmobile place that got raided recently by the sheriffs.
Oh, I read about that. What was that all about?
I don't know. I used to work with that. I used to work out with that sheriff too.
Really?
And
That's crazy.
I mean, I invited him to come on the show. He never got back to me. But Carlos Bolanos, I don't know what the deal with that was.
Huh.
Sounded like he was just agitated his Batmobile didn't come any sooner.
And so he just went ham?
Yeah. Not many details.
The guy who actually did the Batmobile, I think his name was Roger Barris, who's he did a lot of hot rods back in the 1960s. He's really famous. And ironically enough, I think that one of the guys he did the Batmobile, or not all the hot rods back then in the 1960s, his name was Von Dutch or something like that, something Von Dutch, and that's actually Kat Von D's dad. So Kat Von D, the tattoo girl, like she's into Cholo Goth now, so she married some dude from like
Prayers.
Yeah.
The group Prayers, man.
Prayers, the group Prayers.
Oh,
Goth.
Oh, yeah. She was out here recently.
Yeah,
with
Did
that
she actually
player.
perform doing that? Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
So let's go to their show.
He put her on one album and he married her.
Wow.
You know?
That's all it takes.
People talk hella trash about her right now. They call her Fat Von D. Kind of messed up.
Well, I mean, tacos and like she's just enjoying herself.
She had a
Yeah,
baby, so
she's vegetarian. You're gonna put on some
that's
weight.
not enjoying
Yeah,
yourself.
come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I was like, you're vegetarian. You're gonna put on some weight.
So,
You know?
well, yeah. So we were talking about comedy, but also, why do people want kids? And no one here has kids, right?
No, my God. That's the only reason why we can chase our dreams. Those dream crushers.
Yeah. Crush your dream. I mean, you might.
Actually, I take that back because we do have a kid now. My friend Danny right here, because he's just literally, we've adopted him like he's a member of the family. So now we go out and we're
That's what
doing.
they call the gabies. Right?
Yeah, well, he's like, we literally, because we're doing so much film and we're editing, and that's another thing that I wanted to tell you about is that, it's like a lot of the comedians that are out, you can listen to their podcasts. Listen to Joe, you can listen to Tom, Bobby, whatever. And go to the Gas Digital. A lot of the podcasts that we listen to, and everybody always talks about when they were first starting out in comedy. Yeah. That was like, they say like, oh, that was the best times when we first started out. And being a little bit older, because I'm 53 now, it's like I'm not. It's the last time I'll say that. I can see a lot of the younger comedians or just people starting off in comedy, and they're they're like super pumped to get to the next level, And I try to explain to them that enjoy right now.
Because that next level sucks,
It-
huh?
Okay, every single level that you go up.
want to kill you and all that.
Oh my God. Okay, and then try to go to another city and then try to get on their mics. It's just so competitive, so backstabbing. It's like, don't worry about all that. Just enjoy the time that we have right now to live in the moment to do this comedy. Because live comedy is all about selling the fucking moment. You're right here. You're right now. You can feel the energy of the comedian or not as much, but you're right there. And if you can hit it and you can get that energy out to the crowd, you can sell your live comedy. But if you're trying to sell a bit or you're trying to work on something and you come in with the shitty, if you're just coming in with a shitty attitude, like, oh fuck, let me get this over with. Oh, I can't believe this guy's actually going to. You sure? You want to take 10?
No, I was saying in 10 minutes you got an hour.
Yeah. So anyway, we're just rolling, dude. So anyway, so it's like, hey, bro, just relax for 1 second. Enjoy this. There's not a lot of people in the world that get to do this. I mean, enjoy this. Look at this podcast. It's your second podcast. Enjoy this fucking moment because this podcast will do well. This whole thing will do well. I mean, I already know because I've been in the game. Nobody's serious enough to have a podcast like this down in San Francisco. There'll be other comedians that I'll tell about the podcast as I'm out there, and let's just grow this thing because we have something great. But you have to understand something. After COVID hit, there was a lot of comedians and a lot of people where their careers just went. So think about this for 1 second. Just calm down and be like, okay, well, look at all these comedians that are out there that have put in like 5 to 6 years worth of work, and then COVID hits, and I saw a lot of them, and that's how we became friends with a lot of these comedians, is that we supported them during COVID. Even though we didn't have a lot of money ourselves, we'd go to their Zoom meetings and we'd go and we'd hit their videos, and they really appreciated that, because even if it's psychological, it means a lot to have other people support you, because it is such a psychologically draining field. And so when we became friends with them, realize they have to eat first. So it's kind of like this. You want to get your stage time at some of these bigger clubs, don't worry about getting your stage time. Go out there and meet some of the killers that are out there, the headliners and the people that are opening for them. They're completely attainable. You can literally go. Who are we going to go see next? We're going to go see, what's her name from the podcast, Bobby Lee's wife's podcast, the girls.
Oh,
Annie Lederman?
Yeah, well.
Yeah, we'll go see Annie Lederman.
Okay, she's good. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to go see Annie Lederman. But, the thing is, because Monica listens to her podcast all the time, let me tell you something. I guarantee that Annie Lederman, after the show, just because she's a woman comedian, it's a lot harder for the women comedians, because there's this misinterpretation in the field that, we're just going to sit there and listen to women complaining and this and that. Nah, dude, go out there, support her, and then, I guarantee she'll come out, she'll hang out after the show, and she'll literally give you a lot of tips that the pros do. And the pros are so nice, and they literally come out after each show, and they tell you how, not only their tips, but you become friends with them, and as you come up, and they'll remember you. Believe it or not, they remember other comics, because, the guys that are, 40, 50 that have been in the game for a long time, they look at it as a brotherhood. So for me, when I go out there and I meet my other comedians, regardless of what level that they're on, I'm always going to look at it as like, this is a team, and let's try to put on a really great show, and let's try to save this venue and keep this venue and try to build up this venue where we can draw some people and make some money for the other comedians, rather than, I don't like this host, let me go to the next spot. It's like, dude, you didn't even get warmed up. You didn't even get warmed up at this spot. You're sitting here trying to drop a 5-minute set or this set, and it's like, it's trash, and then you're literally, it's what I call it's chasing the dragon. You're chasing the dragon off a great set you might have had a week before. Go set yourself up with the same kind of thing where it's a great venue with the right energy, and you're gonna probably murder. I mean,
what I noticed from watching Dave Chappelle, and then it seemed like he just led on to others. You can't get canceled, but people are afraid of being canceled. You really can't get canceled.
I mean, you can get canceled. Like, I've been kind of canceled where they haven't let me play certain spots, but I haven't been canceled because of the jokes that I do per se. I've dropped N-bomb jokes. I've done jokes about stretching asses and pedophile jokes
Fisting.
and
Fisting.
yeah. Oh, that's a minivan. They got that one. You know what a minivan is, right? The sexual
Wait.
position.
No.
Two in the front, 5 in the back.
Wow.
Yeah. Just we're talking about
That's tough.
fisting.
We're talking about 5 fists.
Dude,
Okay, not people.
five fingers.
Okay.
That's in
'Cause
the back.
I guess I'm kind of I'm not that freaky because I realize I can't even do threesomes.
Oh my
Because
God.
I mean, another dude, that's just awkward, and then another woman is just like, why am I here? Like.
Have you ever tried a threesome? Have you ever been in a position to
what
be in
kind
a
of threesome?
threesome?
Which
I'm
one?
2 girls, 1 guy.
Yeah. Well, oh, meaning I'm the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, back in my younger years.
That was a setup, by the way.
Back in my younger years. And it was
I'm
just.
taking that joke later, by the way.
It was just pointless, you know. It was like, okay, should I get going? Why am I still here?
The only reason I even mentioned that is because I had a situation like 30 years where I met a couple of girls and where our mollies were kicking off after 10:15, and it was right over here, and I just felt so weird because I didn't own it. I didn't even think I got like. I don't even think I know how to act with 1 girl, much less 2. You know, and it's like.
And then with a guy, it's like, bro, I don't know how to. When we're grown men, I don't know how to fit with you in this room. So let's just tag me when you're done.
Literally, you look up on your Instagram and you're tagged. You're like, time to come on in.
Come on in, it's done.
You can just knock on the door. Hey, so I'm done.
Come on in.
Oh my God! Can I tell you?
I think, but there's a way to do dirty stuff. I mean, comedy-wise, because Patrice O'Neal
Yes.
taught me great things.
The legend.
I mean, not things I would use, but taught me great dirty stuff. Like, I never knew what a donkey punch was before.
I don't laugh, but I've been to Thailand where I've seen, that stuff that that you heard about, the donkey shows in Thailand.
Yeah.
I've actually seen them in real life, and I wish I could unsee them because I didn't want to see them in the first place. But no, like Thailand, that's on a whole nother level.
Yeah. Well, I hated that every time I say it's the one place I would go to. It's another country. I always get the whole, you just want to. Yeah. The girls are easy. You could get a bunch of girls like, bro, I just like the culture, man. What is this?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
now,
but, where else can you ride an elephant in Copenhagen in the north and go surfing in the south? There was all kinds of great stuff.
the way the way people talk about that place, that are I guess from out here, I could just imagine the elephant doing a reach round. Or
Oh
something.
my God, the people in Thailand are so amazing. They're some of the most amazing people you ever meet. And even in India, I've been lucky enough that my dad was kind of literally like a cultural ambassador, so I got to live all over the world. And I can tell you one thing, that people just talk so much shit about other people in other places of the world. Well, go there.
Yeah.
Well, go there. And then make that decision. Because what you're going to find out is like most people in the world are a lot nicer than we are. Because they don't have as much.
We're a little jaded, I guess.
You can go to a place in India and people will spend their whole month's wage to feed you a dinner in one night. And you'll go over there and go, oh my God, they don't even have spoons. And that's what you'll think. And that's your mindset as being, definitely being an American. But you're not thinking that this person right here has opened up their house. And there would be a lot of people that want to come and visit our country, but we're not going to open up our houses to them because we're like, oh, we don't want to talk to them.
That is true.
But once you open up your house.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I heard the South is nice.
I'm sure they are.
But,
yeah. I partied with
Area.
rednecks. Yeah, I partied with rednecks, dude. You would think that, like, me being who I am and looking the way I do, my crowd is probably the exact opposite of each other politically.
I party with Indian people. I was at a party I was going to see a rock show, but next door, because I was walking from my car, and then there was like a party next door. They were dancing and all that. I joined for a bit till they sat me outside. But they were so nice. When they told me I had to leave, they actually said, sit down and they'll make me a plate before I
Absolutely.
leave.
That's an Indian
Samosas.
tradition, yes, yeah. Carbs on carbs.
I love it. 'Cause I'm on a deal diet or a discount diet, coupons. And if there's not a deal, a coupon, or a discount, I don't eat.
The comedian diet. You get the hash browns going at Trader Joe's.
Oh yeah,
Trader
the
Joe's
late
hash
night-
brown, late night hash
the
browns
late night
going.
treat.
Yeah, that's when you know you're a
Salsa.
comedian. Yeah, when you're partying. That's what me and him fucking had that hash brown thing a couple of late nights.
Yo, I mean, we grow in life. Comedians they could be very shady characters. I mean, I found I didn't even realize I've needed to apologize to some certain people. Like Paul behind me, Paul Broomba. I've had to apologize. I thought I've always thought we were really good friends, and then I realized one time at the Purple Onion, I was like, wait, I did that. Yeah, I needed a ride home, and then I'm thinking we're really tight, and then I'm like, dang, I was shady. Why did I? Well, I was getting some action under the table, and then I actually took that person home instead of giving him a ride.
That's San Francisco rules. That's an Irish goodbye.
That's shady, though.
It's an Irish goodbye. Irish goodbye.
He
just
did a
don't say
great set
anything.
too. He did a great set. But I think I was in my 20s.
Hey,
I
if you
hope.
do a great set in San Francisco, and by the way, I can't wait to come out here. I know you guys are going to show me some love when I come out to San Francisco, because but some of the other comedians were like, when you go out to San Francisco, it's literally going to be like oil mixed with water with the comedy that you do. And
Sounds like oil wrestling.
yeah, exactly.
Love
It's
it.
like, yeah, exactly. I'm like, that's just good skin, It's like we'll be fine. And so I can't wait to come out to San Francisco. If I do a great set in San Francisco and I lived in San Francisco, I'd walk home. Because dude, the San Francisco, man, if you do a great set in San Francisco, nobody rides as hard as San Francisco residents. I mean, everybody here just wants
Well, yeah,
to have a
because
great
no one
laugh.
wants to be home because every place is just so tightly connected to each other. So you're like, all right, where's the next open mic? I can't be home. And I live in a lot of people live in closets too. And I pay for this expensive closet only to sleep in.
It's absolutely crazy, isn't it? The rents and just what's going on.
I do think times have changed because there used to be the joke that like comics are sucking people off for stage time. They don't really do that anymore, do they?
Well,
That's what-
I do. I mean, a guy, and I have, because that's definitely the Leaving Neverland joke.
So you enjoyed it, or you just needed that stage
It was
time?
fantastic because it was on stage. I just eliminated the middleman. And I said, let me just bend over this chair right here and pretend like I'm just taking Michael Jackson down the back of my throat, like the Australians.
So it's well, you needed that for the joke. Unfortunately, there's probably comics that were in the lineup going, gosh, I had to actually suck someone off just for stage time, and it didn't really. I had to do it in the back room. It wasn't part of my set, and here this guy is doing it as part of his set.
Yeah, I mean, they were so jealous. They wish they could do it, but I was like, sorry, dude, I beat you to the punch.
Gosh,
And I think actually, that's actually one of the reasons why I wear the overalls during my
It's
act.
easy to
Well,
take
no,
off,
it's because I've gained like 20 or 30 pounds during COVID, and I was just worried about my jeans falling off to be
Showing your butt crack.
yeah, and then because I work on the cars, there was one time I just ran out of time, and I was like, oh shit, I got to make it to this open mic. And I left their things on, and all the kids were like, "Oh my god, that's so retro," And then I was like, so I just stuck with that bit for about a month or so. I get tired of that shit. But then but I do really love the overalls, man. I mean, one of these girls asked me, like, one thing about a guy in overalls is they have a big dick, and I was like, not in this case, honey. Not in this case, but I do definitely have the balls for it, though. Especially getting older.
You have bigger balls than
Yeah,
the
they're
actual
disgusting.
dick.
They're disgusting. There's like gray hair on them and shit, and they're like literally down to my fucking my knees.
Do you maybe have a hernia?
Actually, let me tell you how bad a shape I am in. I literally got I have a hernia, or not a hernia, but I threw a herniated disc right now in my back from coughing from smoking weed. I was in my backyard the other day, and I just went, and then all of a sudden, ow! And so now it's bulging. But
Oh, you said weed. I'm too bad we're live because you said, you said weed.
we're not supposed to say that.
No, just it's kind of weak to cough from weed. It must have been some good stuff though. Was it a Jeter?
You know
Was
what?
it a Jeter?
Oh my God! We have the best weed right now. It's the best lesbian weed in the Bay Area.
I
It's
heard about that.
yeah. It's it's actually Danny's got the shirt on right now, the Misguided shirt.
Misguided.
Yeah, Misguided. We've been smoking some from her that supplier. And I guess actually, like right now, one of the strongest strains out is supposed to be lesbian gorilla, which
Lesbian gorilla.
I heard some comedians talking about it, but that could be just.
I love
What? Okay, so he's just showing me some weed. Obviously, we're all weed smokers here, so it's all good.
I love
It's all good.
So his shirt, misguided, talking about the weed, it's showing how dangerous kids are.
Oh my God, they are literally misguided youth. Misguided youth, especially hanging around guys like us. Like we're gonna show them the right way to do things. We're comedians. Pretty much just do everything the opposite, Danny.
I mean, okay, I guess that's getting away from comedy, but okay. So I praise, I praise the Lord that I haven't had kids. So that's church. That's another topic, but also family-wise, my mom's always told me not to have kids. My upbringing was very different. So many things, very confusing. But as a way of probably telling me not to have kids, she left me very confused. She said my dad was dead. She said she bought me for 10 cents at the nursery, at the gift shop at the hospital. She and then after that, she would keep pointing and saying, "Oh, that could be your dad. That could be your dad." It seemed like every panhandler from California is my dad.
She was fist bumping all the homeless people walking down the street.
She's gonna hate that. She's already told me she hated. I said that before, but that's what but to make her sound better, she said that about the Bushman in San Francisco once, and because he passed by, he was like, yeah, that's what he does. He gets in a bush, he tries to scare people, and then
every sound's got one.
And she said that could be your dad, and like. I found out the guy has a nice house in Sausalito. He's dead now.
Oh, shit.
But that would have been nice. So, I mean, some of those people she pointed at were great. But then I did meet him 9 years ago, I believe it was. Saw my grandpa was in the front page of the paper at a funeral going on. And she convinced me to go there. I was like, I didn't get invited. But I met him. And honestly, okay, so she said never have kids. She said, would you want another you? And I thought about that, and no. But then, obviously, he didn't want kids either. So I do feel like that's a great thing he left me with, was he obviously, because he actually calls his wife's kids his, daughter and all that, and they call him dad. And he met them in their 20s. So he obviously didn't want kids, and so that taught me, I was like, you know what, I can relate to him. I would never leave my kid, unfortunately, but because he never wanted kids, I can relate to that. Like, wow, he second taught me a lesson there, not having kids. So should I go visit him? I'm thinking about it.
I'll tell you something right now. One of my friends who just keeps coming by and disappearing, he had a kid, and there's like this line where they go, "I'm gonna ghost you." Ghost. Well, ghosts come back, right?
Yeah.
They come back and they'll haunt you. Not bad dads. Bad dads. So anytime I say I'm gonna leave someone, I said, "Deuces, bro. I'm gonna bad dad you." Actually, I'm now that I'm hanging around with a friend of mine that's Russian, I give him a strong das vidanya. Das vidanya. Das vidanya, dude.
That's just like a greeting?
Yeah, no, das vidanya means deuces in Russian.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, back to what I was telling you. So two of my friends, I've had other friends that were bad dads. They just dipped on their kids. And the problem with it is that you can't dip on paying them. And so...
Yeah, he didn't pay anything.
So now it's like 20, they've a couple gone to college. You can't escape that. It's almost like escaping student loans. Although I do want to say for the record that my girl, or my wife, future wife Monica, helped me actually beat the education system, and after 30 years I literally beat them to where I don't have to pay my student loans back. So I actually did beat student loans, which nobody's done. I want it for the record. But back to what I was telling you about my friend, he's like, he owes so much money now, it's like $100,000, $200,000. I was like, then I got this other friend of mine who's kind of these are guys that actually work for me. Well, he owed $100,000. He's like, why didn't you just take a county bullet? And I was like, county bullet? You know what a county bullet is?
No, what is that?
I told Danny this too. He didn't. No, yeah, well, it's almost like that, but basically do a year in jail to get rid of your child payments, your child rears. So you can do a year in Santa Rita, and then they'll like, if you got 100 racks.
Oh, Santa Rita.
He owed 100 rocks.
Lesson.
He owed 100 racks.
Sucks.
Yeah, 100 racks.
Those
Unless you like them.
sandwiches with the holes in it.
Got to put money on the. You got to put money on your tab. You got to have some connects on the outside. Santa Rosa is all about knowing the sheriffs. But speaking of, you know who's our local congressman? His brother works at Santa Rita, Eric Salwell. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, he's our local congressman. Not that we care.
Swalwell with a W.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Swalwell, whatever.
You know, I just think about it. I guess we talk about our taxes are paying for these inmates. Well, now that I think about how horrible the food is, I guess I don't feel bad about the taxes going. My money going there because the food's horrible. So it's not like we're giving them that great of food.
Yeah, and he's like, and it's all carbs too. It's like, and you know, by the way, you can get anything you want in there.
After a while.
You have to just put the money on you have to put money on your commissary tab. Like they've got everything.
Well, I haven't done that much time in Santa Rita. All I got was a toilet with a bunch of.
But you don't have any kids, you know.
Yeah.
You're right. Well, anyway, back to my thing. It's like it's kind of sucks. Like they got to figure out a better way for these bad dads to get back into society because now they're ending up doing all these like just trashy, shitty jobs trying to make their ends because they didn't pay that money back in the day. So it's like literally I found out about that county bullet recently, and I'm like, well, sometimes you'd be better off taking a step backward.
So should I go visit my dad
with the county bullet? He's doing a county bullet right now.
No, he's in that Utah. Well, he's always had a nice growing up. He was he was raised with a great family, just without me. He had houses and. I mean, should I try? I'm old, but should I try to be in that guy's life? Go visit him? This is where I make my choice.
As the famous Shaquille O'Neal said, why biological didn't bother. Wasn't that his song? Biological didn't bother?
Yeah, the Man of Steel CD. Yeah, he's a rapper.
He's hit multimedia platforms.
I mean, the guy, I don't know, my dad, I guess some dads suck to stay around. You're like, I think to myself, maybe it would be better off if this person didn't have a dad. My dad, I'm like, dang, I kind of wish he was around. I mean, he's, besides being an alcoholic, maybe. 'Cause I like to drink, but I like to eat too. This guy only eats dinner.
Ruins your buzz. The real alcoholics don't eat.
I mean, I went to visit him once, and yeah, he doesn't. That's what it is, probably. Ruins
Yeah.
your
Oh,
buzz.
absolutely. Yeah.
See. Well, in Utah, it's harder to get liquor.
Dude, I didn't even drink before I started doing comedy, and now I'm literally drinking. It's before 12 o'clock. I've literally turned into a raging alcoholic. It's like, where's the cocaine next? It's like, I would probably be doing more lines of cocaine if there wasn't fentanyl in that shit. You know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah, it's horrible, the fentanyl.
Fentanyl is like such a buzzkill. It's worse than Vice.
Well,
You can always take Adderall.
Yeah, Adderall. Yeah, I've got neighbors on Adderall. That's a whole nother
that makes
story.
you tired.
And creepy.
Yeah.
So I went out to visit him once. He gave me a little bit of material. Like you talking about there's a town named after a frozen penis in Utah. The Native Americans had some kind of fight out there, and all of a sudden there's this guy laying down, and they go over and they lift up his loincloth and they Wasatch, and Wasatch means frozen penis, and the guy just had an erect frozen penis, and that was they named the town after that. He told me about the people that ate themselves out there, 8 people out there, and we got pulled over, and we got away with the DUI.
What the fuck?
Yeah, he had me hold his beer. His wife had me hold her beer, and then I had my beer, so I couldn't
Which
hold
state?
it all. Utah.
Wait a second. That's a Mormon state. They don't even drink out there.
You gotta buy it in like the special places, I guess.
They have to drink. They're
But
white.
we got so that I want that privilege. Like the cop just said go about your way. You know how I've had to learn how to get away with stuff out here.
Well, that privilege goes the opposite with me. I got pulled over 3 times when I put my hair in a cornrow. Like 1 week. I'm like, hey, I got a BMW. I shouldn't have put my hair in a cornrow though.
That's
I was trying to get at that
so
sister.
okay. I was thinking about getting braids, so that or dreads. So
They were fake
so
too. I got the plastic weaved in. Like I had the fake dreads and shit. It was so cheesy. The only thing I needed for that collection was the fake the hazel contacts to go totally 90s. You know what I mean? Just match them up, stacked up the shoes.
So, as a comic, I've noticed this lately. I'll get show invites.
Huh?
It'll say best of the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And they have no lineup, and it's $25. It costs a good amount of money. And I guess I've gotten to know a lot of comics personally.
Yeah.
So I guess I really want to know who's on the lineup.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, why would someone else also that's just a fan of comedy want to go to a show they don't see the lineup of?
I don't
and
get
$25.
I don't get it
I think
personally.
it's worse maybe when
No,
I do
I-
see a lineup.
I
'cause
think
I'm like,
that-
$25 still.
Yeah, I don't. Here's what this is kind of what I'm kind of tick out of it. It's like, okay, so you go to the show and the best of lineup, so you get the guys that come in a weekly, right? Like and so they're gonna have a certain amount of people that follow them. So they're gonna show this like weekly lineup best 25, and they're gonna bring their friends. Well, if they bring 10 of their friends, then they're gonna get this like in the improv. If they bring 10 of their whole family shows up, they're gonna get on stage. And I know that they said that they wouldn't get on stage, but I literally seen it in the back, like, so now it's become a pyramid scheme. So now you go to these different comedy venues and they just want you to bring a bunch of your people, and it's not really who's the best comics, it's who knows the most people or can bring the most comics. And then on top of that, it's not even necessarily like you're going to be limited on the jokes too. Like, you can't do certain late night jokes, and so now you've got these open mic comics that really don't know which jokes that they should be doing and when. So there's a good recipe for disaster, and I'm hoping that when that disaster hits, that we'll have that camera on, because me and Danny and Monica, we've been like kind of behind the whole scenes, really trying to film what stand up, just not aggressively, just like, the different comedians and different moments. And we've been trying to capture those moments at all these venues all around the Bay Area. And I mean, let me tell you a great story. So a couple of weeks ago, I'm with my friend who's, because I build these cars, I build some really nice cars, lowriders. I've been doing it for a while. So with my friend, and I don't want to throw out names, but I'm not going to say his name. He's the mayor of Los Gatos. So we show up at this pizza place in
Mind you, there's kids in this pizza place.
And then there's kids in
it's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, we're talking to the
It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
So anyway, so we show up at this pizza place, and literally, one of the comedians, I forget, she's known for bringing out her vibrator. She pulls out her vibrator right in the middle of the set and starts going at her vibrator, legs open, on the ground, 4 o'clock in the afternoon at Mountain Mike's Pizza in Campbell, in front of the my friend who's the manager, who's there mayor of Los Gatos. Actually, he's the city manager now. He's there with his girlfriend, and I did what any normal man would do. I gave her a standing ovation, and I've never given anybody a standing ovation.
Because she went for it.
Yeah,
She
like,
went for it, dude. She went for it. There was nothing there for her.
She's like, you're my inspiration.
There was nothing there for her that day. There was nothing there for her to come into. But we saw that. And when every night, when I know it was a great night of open mic comedy or comedy in general, because I think to myself, what have I done? How am I here?
So
There's
she
always
brought her vibrator.
She always brings it. Should we shout out her name?
Yeah.
It's
Leslie Lang.
Yes.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
good. She's not a
Yes.
horrible comic.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's.
So I
And I give her a standing ovation because I thought it was so ballsy to do that in front of a few of the comedians she knew, but she was around me, and Danny had the camera and some other comedians, and she didn't do it. And my friend Josh threw it. And I just wasn't expecting that on an open mic.
Too.
Yeah, Josh was also a comedian. And that's really the main thing that I've been really trying to focus in on is really, support your local hosts and support the hosts that do all these open mics, because we are really going to build something amazing and something nice. And maybe this is the second episode, and maybe like a lot of people might not even see this shit, but I'm telling you, I'm going to come back a year from now. I'm going to come back a year from now, maybe not even in the studios, and I won't be on. And we're going to have something amazing going on. You'll be like, what the fuck just happened? Well, what the fuck just happened is that we just told each other about what we're gonna do, and we're gonna all the comedians that are really serious, support the guys that are coming up too, because they're gonna support you, and it's gonna be one big giant support structure of really good comedians. And this is we're gonna start the post-COVID crowd. The guys that were here before COVID, they have to eat first, because they had their careers wreck right when COVID hit. So they have to eat first. So you got to push your friends that are a little bit ahead of you, get them some stage time, and just shut the fuck up and wait. Let them have their time. You'll get your time. Just concentrate on your jokes. You're not going to get dogged out because all the other comedians know who's good, and anybody can throw a showcase of really good comedians on any night and any place. It can be done. It's just like we used to have parties in San Francisco. You don't need the best DJs. You just need the good DJs.
It should be all about some teamwork too. Like
it should be.
I like you never know. Like you're like you said, the brotherhood and all. It should be like a real one, not a
You're never gonna
justice brotherhood. I mean, I've seen people come and go. Reggie Matthews, I had him in the other room when I was here, and now he's no longer with us. So, it should be, it should be that brotherhood of teamwork.
This shit is so hard. Everybody knows that it's the hardest thing to do in the world because you're competing against music. I mean, this isn't about like 20 or 30 years ago where you're just, you had your people that liked, your chuckle fucker crowd. But this is it's different now because now everybody thinks that they can go into a different media by, okay, I'm going to start doing the stand up. Now I'm going to get myself a podcast. You know how hard it is to do a podcast, a quality podcast? Look at all the equipment that's around here. You have to make a complete commitment, not only in your equipment but in your life to do this, because one half of this comedy is going to be you writing jokes. There's going to be another half of you getting on social media. You cannot escape social media as a comedian right now. It has to be a part of your vocabulary, because otherwise it's just going to be a hobby and you're going to end up playing these small rooms. You have to have your social media. It was what's his name that gave me the advice, because his TikTok really made him blow up. It was Sam who opened for Sammy the other day. Not Cody Ko. That was a nightmare.
I like how you talk about Sammy Obeid a lot.
No, Sammy's a good friend. Yeah,
he's a great comic.
Oh my God, Sammy. By the way, himself, completely humble, accessible, just a great guy overall. British John, he's been super nice. British John got me to go all the way to Kill Tony. He got me in and Kill Tony, and at least I got a chance. I mean, my heart never raced so fast. I mean, if any of you comedians get a chance to fly out to Texas and get out there before the show, you should just really do it to see what the energy of stand-up comedy could be. It could be better than we have even in Texas. Yeah,
I felt like some people still got their pandemic jokes, like not jokes about the pandemic, but still they just still reserved them and kept on that same line and didn't escape yet.
I think psychologically, as a society, we took a big hit. Because there's different patterns, and when you go through life, you're going through different patterns. You want to get a stable pattern that you can sustain over a long period of time. And the thing about comedy, you get these last second calls and these bookings, and you have to make adjustments. And it's really tough as it is, but then the entire pattern's thrown off of 2 years of like, where am I going to go? Where am I going to open up? And people had to be really creative. They had to do shit outside. They had to do shit in the parks. They had to do the spaces that they need to do. It forced a lot of people to be creative because you took a lot of the places to meet out. But when you force people to be creative, that's when the work is going to get really, really amazing. Because let's face it, you're not going to have the money that, literally, if you want, you could buy yourself fame. If you want to be honest about it, you could buy it. You could literally go to TikTok, buy yourself views on TikTok, and get your videos up and say, "Oh my God, I'm like so funny. Everybody loves me." Well, no, you just put it up.
So weird though.
People do it. The people buy followers on Instagram. It's part of the game. They do it for booking agents.
I feel like if you're at a show, if you're a comedian at a showcase, I feel like that's when I'll judge you. I don't like judge. Like if I'm at an open mic, it could be hilarious and I'll clap even harder. Like, good job, because you didn't have to do a good job.
No.
But if you're at a showcase,
fuck yeah, I'm the same way, bro.
I'll judge a little bit. Because here I am coming to what I think is a showcase. I'm like, God, especially if it's someone I know. That's horrible. Dang, come on.
I've been really disappointed in some of these.
Personally.
No, I've been just disappointed because I understand that these a lot of these spots are hurting, but it doesn't have to be quite such a money grab. They can definitely push the camaraderie because, you know, it's like, you know, every comedian should have this knowledge, this one knowledge, you know, especially as you're moving up the ranks, is how many people can I sell tickets to a show for? Because that's really important. How many tickets and where can I sell it to? Well, if I say I go down to L.A. and I want to do a show in L.A., well, I've got a lot of the Volkswagen people down in L.A. that might come out to see a show, but only if I go and do like one of the events where they're doing like a car show or something, to, you know, that might be possible. But that would be, I'd know different comedians that are down there, like Renee, you know, and I'd be like, hey, Renee, Renee Candavas?
No.
Renee, you know Renee?
Renee Vaca.
Renee Vaca. I'm sorry, Renee Vaca. You know, I met Renee.
Brendan Davis moved out there.
Well,
Davis.
I don't think I know him, but you know, I don't know a lot of these comedians. I mean, a lot of them are just people that I met.
Gosh, I've been a fan for a while, but I guess a fan in a bar. And then I'm like,
now you're part of
I
it.
enjoy this.
Yeah, dude. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Is these open mic nights? There's better comedians out on these open
You
mic
never
nights.
know what you're gonna get at an open mic.
Crushing.
You know what you're gonna get at a show.
We know
pretty
what we're
much.
gonna get.
But
you
open mic, it's crazy.
You should still see the we saw recently we saw Shane Gillis, and we saw Joe List, and we don't ask for any extra privileges at the clubs. We just pay our money because we feel like they've earned it. We were definitely going to see. We wanted to see Tom Segura's wife, but the only reason we didn't see her is because
Pinski.
Yeah, Christine, because she was at $35 a ticket, and we're just kind of like, we're spending money on the house, so, you know, we're tight, so we just, even though we would have, but we're going to support all those comedians that have come in before us with our money because we're fans of them, and we feel like they deserve it. There's nobody's getting rich. There's nobody. Doug Stanhope is literally living in an apartment in Arizona right now, barely making his ends.
Hey, I look up to all you comics because I mean, it only takes life stuff for me to go, okay, I'm gonna do some comedy. But after that, it fades away. I can't keep it going. Like I mean, the dating thing, and I'm like, not doing the dating stuff anymore. And then being on the news, an orange jumpsuit, yeah, it gives me some comedy, you know. Yeah, but you know, I can't keep the same stuff going. So I really look up to a lot of comedians out there. And we got to wrap things up.
This is war out there. Just remember that. This is war. And we're going out there and we're going to fucking kill everybody together. This is a fucking war. And Danny with the shot right here is one of the best fucking photographers. Literally has been shooting all over. I don't know how he got into this thing, but he can hook up a lot of you comedians. Come say hi to us. Come say hi to my girlfriend Monica. She's been on she's actually been on Howard Stern. She's friends with everybody at Gas Digital.
Everybody.
Well, no, a lot of producers at Gas Digital, because like I said, a few years ago,
used to be great. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Gas Digital is hot right now.
Last words for everybody.
Okay, so we are you know, I see a lot of these club guys and they're teasing these people with $50 spots and $100 spots to go and maybe open up some shitty club somewhere where they might get 20 people. So what we decided to do is we're trying to level up one more fucking level because we do have friends that are down in New York, and we do have friends that Gas Digital with other podcasts. Because remember, 7 years ago it was nothing. Now it's one of the biggest podcast companies around. You guys are. You could be. You literally. There's no reason why this couldn't be just as good. There's no reason. It's only imagination. So anyway, these people. What we want to do is we want to take some videos and some video of different comedians as we go. It's going to be like a 1 or 2 year thing, but hopefully within a year we got enough footage, and then we're planning on going to New York. So me, Danny, and Monica are going to New York, and we're filming just the whole stand-up scene, not only on the East Coast but the West Coast. But we're going to take somebody with us.
Okay.
We're going to take somebody with us to New York to do, and then we're going to take one comic with us. And right now, I'm going to tell you right now who's winning.
Discount
and right now, who's winning for us? One of our favorite comics is Jade. You know, the girl in the wheelchair?
Yeah, okay.
That's one of our favorites. She's a straight fucking murderer, but there's other comics out there, and I'm really we're looking forward to meeting all the San Francisco comics.
Shannon Battle. Got to go for Shannon.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone that can hang with the cutthroat comedians of New York, they will literally cut out your liver and give it to you to eat, you know, and feel good about it, and you know, so Well, it's like so we're that's something that we the main okay, let me tell you how we're gonna do it is because Monica's sister works for Alaska Airlines, so we get the tickets for free. So that's number one. Number two, I think I can I think I can take my minimum wage job and actually save up enough to actually pay for an Airbnb. Yeah, for an Airbnb somewhere in New York, and then I think we can have some of the people at Gas Digital hook us up some spots to do and just make it a cross promotion type thing.
Okay, yeah, I could let you know who might.
Dude, we're going to be friends for life, bro.
I mean, because I know a lot of comics personally. There's a certain ones that will actually either will stab you, but there's the great ones like Shannon Battle.
They just have to kill in New York. Then we have to set the whole thing up with the promotions from New York. It's just it's something that we talked about. It's something it's not even necessarily a dream, but it's something that's way attainable. It's way attainable because, like I said, we can get the tickets for free, and then getting the spots in New York, we just have to reach out to some of the comedians out there that are more than willing to help us and say, hey, you know what? Some of you New York comedians, if you want to come down here and do some showcases over here, come and crash over at my place. Let's just build a community. Don't worry about your career. Let's just build an incredible community of just killer comedians, just like they did in LA before that. Like they're trying to do in Austin. They're doing in Austin right now. Let's do it.
Yeah, if you need a comedian that knows trivia, a lot of smart stuff. There's David Stolowitz.
I've heard of him.
Just don't bring any like pole dancers. He's very afraid of pole dancers. I was on my show, I had a pole dancer, and he darted out of there.
What
the fuck? He darted out of there. He doesn't know pole dancers.
That's what I'm running in.
If for some reason it has to be a real stripper for some reason, even though he's not into women. It has to be I don't know.
They're very solid on the dance scene. I had a girlfriend that was a stripper for a while. I met her at an office party for Club One, and I didn't even know she was a stripper. Next thing I know, she's painting her red and her room red and smoking crystal meth in front of me.
I heard that Stormy was a great comic. She did stand up. That Stormy Daniels.
Oh my God, yeah, they're hilarious. Actually, my friend managed over here at the that club on Howard Street, the Gold Club. We used to eat lunch over there.
Oh yeah, I used to work there.
Shut up.
And then when I didn't work there, I did security down the block at the Federal Building, and so I used to eat there. And then the guy that would come and relieve me would relieve me there.
At the Gold Club.
Hey man,
so we have one more common denominator.
Okay, well I'll go back to the building.
That's the thing about San Francisco. It's such an amazing city.
A lot of emotional strippers there. I had to be there, a shoulder to cry on at the Gold Club.
So it looks like we got to wrap this up.
Oh yeah, we're done. We said where your stuff is, right?
We're all good. We're gonna smoke now.
Those plugs in there, guys, for sure.
So right now I'm gonna be in San Francisco. I'm gonna be doing a lot of open mics. The one on Broadway for sure.
Yeah, well you just do open mics throughout the Bay Area.
Yeah, if you want to follow me, don't follow me at my old Instagram. It got hijacked. This is the most annoying thing is I'm actually picking up more followers on my old Instagram than who I am now. My robot's picking up more followers. I'm at Pinaki Joadder on Instagram and Pinaki Joadder on TikTok. If anybody wants to reach out and wants to be a part of this, don't jump in front of the cameras and think you're going to get a free trip to New York. It's going to take a long time, and it's a process. I know how you guys gossip. Go ahead, man.
Oh, there's nothing. I just teach yoga. I'm a personal trainer and I teach yoga. But you can always, have any questions about anything, yoga, fitness. I manage him. So, but you can go to Monica Lopez Yoga. I have an Instagram account, Mo Yoga, at Mo Yoga. At Mo Yoga.
Mo Yoga.
Yeah, and my website is Monica Lopez Yoga.
You could find me at Danny with the Shot. I do photography for comics around the Bay and the music scene, and yeah.
He also does NFTs too. If anybody's interested in NFTs, he's the literal NFT expert of the Bay Area.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I have no idea what NFT.
He's giving you your special NFTs.
We had to shout that out there. And dang, that time went by quick. Yeah.
We told you.
What's really happening? I didn't expect.
We're happening.
We're happening. There's so much I gotta talk about
all
next.
of us.
Like relationship. Now I'm gonna just talk to the next person and act like it's you two. Because
You know-
I wanted to talk about that.
She's my, just Doug Stanhope had bingo. I've got my,
we're still going.
I had bango. I see all these guys, they have these bangos, but I got
Yeah.
a real bingo. So if you guys
Yeah.
go out there, get,
yourself
the
a
bingo
bingo,
doesn't
like
have
Doug
to be a
Stanhope.
girlfriend. It has to have to be a
But
comedian that can.
you two are getting married, right?
You were getting married. We've been together 7 years. That's what's stupid.